Santa Claus là cái nào? Nó như thế nào?
Look, has Santa on the bag.
Oh, here.
What?
Maybe here. Come here. Không. Không phải, bên đây nè. Maybe. Cái này phải không? Yeah. Yes, I got the one. Okay, no worries. Maybe we said about it. Not see you, I put it here. And maybe I can. Okay. Put it there. Cuối cùng nó bốc lên thành xóa đi được.
Head west on Lane, then take the first left. Turn left. Turn right onto Terrawood Drive. At the stop sign, turn left onto Tonti Way, then take the first right onto Corners Parkway. At the stop sign, turn right onto Corners Parkway, then take a slight right turn onto Glenwood Avenue. At the stop sign, take a slight right turn onto Glenwood Avenue. In about 13 kilometers, take exit 13 onto I-85 North and US 15 North toward Petersburg. Stay in the left 2 lanes.
Came into my office, there was a letter there from at the prison, and I believe it was named Pennsylvania top. Oh, this is a joke. So I showed the letter to my Metro letter for that time. He looked at it and said, "Holy shit." She's a prison reporter, had interviewed a number of murderers, some pretty bad people, but the son of Sam Keller, David Berkowitz, was a different wild card. He was modern day Jack the Ripper character with a gun. This is some crazy motherfucker.
The summer of '77 won't be easily forgotten by New Yorkers. There's a killer on the loose.
The 44 caliber killer who has come to be known as the Son of Sam.
There was a killer roaming the streets, murdering at will, and nobody was safe.
Psychopathic gunman has killed 6 people and wounded 8 others, shot at very close range with a 44 caliber bulldog revolver.
Son of Sam simply shot people for no reason whatsoever.
The killer has taunted authorities by writing letters signed Son of Sam.
Sam's a thirsty lad. He won't let me stop killing till he gets his fill of blood.
Overnight, he hit again.
The city was just horrified, terrified, in a frenzy of fear.
I'm afraid to walk around here, afraid to be in this neighborhood.
Yeah, it could be me. I don't want to be the next victim. He's really taunting the reporters. He's taunting the police. He's taunting all of New York. Like, yeah, try to catch me if you can.
Working to my first meeting with David Berkowitz, I think anybody would have been somewhat anxious. He was in the room when I entered, and Berkowitz just kind of lounged around this table we were sitting on the other side of us. And to my astonishment, he sticks his hand out. Hi, I'm David. Big smile. It was totally disarming. He would be the last person you would suspect being serial killer.
All I hear from people, see, is be open-minded. Let them speak the like to say what, but at the same time be open-minded.
Stay in the left 2 lanes.
Yes.
He was a dangerous enigma. And I would like to kind of poke the snake.
The line is just the thing is
Stay in the left 2 lanes.
cross the line. He's right. Enjoy things. Easy to.
People at the door. This is a foul. 1. The whole services. The outlets, the visibility. It's just, you can see one thing as a city.
Oh, that was general was. It's where the sense of right thing about it.
It's being listening to and the president is not keen on this. The famous Daily News headline of the day said, "Four to New York, drop dead."
People, once upon New York, city.
In 2 kilometers, take exit 13 onto I-85 North and US 15 North toward Petersburg.
Stay stay home. Your city campaign to protest land layoffs in South. Want to be too far. Okay,
Stay in the second lane from right and go past this exit.
That time. It's not a phone. It's
Use the right lane to take exit 13 onto I-85 North and US 15 North toward Petersburg.
I was 17 years old, getting ready for my senior year of high school. And we were in the middle of disco fever.
Take the exit.
People were going into clubs. We still lived our lives. We still acted like young people. But we were in danger.
For about 389 kilometers, continue straight.
1976, that 18 years old. Just went to disco. Just went to the clubs. I was a student and the city. They were in Jody's car outside Donna's house on Pure Avenue in the Bronx. And then all of a sudden, this strange guy, comes about 8 feet from the car. They got a little confused. Who is this guy? Donna was sitting in the back and killed pretty much instantly. And Jody was sitting in the leg. She survived.
Later, Jody is able to give the police honest an idea of what the perpetrator looks like because they see him, they turn around and they actually see it. This guy, 5'9" or 10, curly hair. It gives that sketch to the police honest.
My father woke me up at 7 o'clock in the morning and told me that Donna Gloria died. She got killed. She was shot. And I started bawling like a baby, crying. I was Donna Gloria's boyfriend from 1971 till 1975. She lived 2 blocks away from me. It started out as puppy love and then it became love. I took her to my prom. She was just a nice girl. I used to call her lady. My lady. She liked that. They opened the wake up August 1st. My father called me up out of the basement. And he goes, I don't think it's a good idea that you attend the wake. He felt that they were going to blame me killing him. So and I went downstairs and cried again because I couldn't do it. And I started getting investigated by the police.
Whenever there's a homicide, you usually close. That's where you start. And then you branch off. Actually, he's suspect number 1.
They would bring me down there. Put me in, you see on TV with a 2-way and I lied it. Told them my story. And they diverted them from my story.
They investigated Donna's ex-boyfriend. And so that investigation went nowhere. You know, you can't put a square peg into a round hole. If something doesn't fit, it just doesn't fit.
For the first 6 months after she passed, I was accused of murder. I was in disbelief. Nobody ever apologized to me.
Time goes by, the case kind of peters out, and there's no leads, and then it became the cold case. It's just one of many. I was a Texas sergeant in a homicide squad in Brooklyn. Back then, it was over 1,600 homicides. The number of cases is overwhelming. The cops had no motive, no suspects, and you could think of no reason why these two kids were shot on the streets of New York City. They had no idea really what was going on. Like it affected us because it wasn't happening. I lived in North Flushing. Flushing, for the most part, Flushing was a very good neighborhood. It still is. You know, when you're 18, well, feel like you're offensive. I'd like to think to myself back then, it's a free sphere. Small time, right there, kiss girls. That was pretty much it. A friend of mine picked me up and drove me to Tex Park. That was our hangout. A bunch of girls here hanging out with us. So I moved from college. I was friends with one of her sisters. 20 years old, she's 41. One thing led to another. It's like, you know, you want to get out of here? Sure, you know, let's go. And we left. Find damn stuff to make out. I was sitting in the passenger seat, long hair. I was married. She was in the driver's seat, with short hair. So it was very easy to mistake me for. I asked her if she was thinking of a joint. She says no. Sure, I did. And took a swig of the Jack Daniels bottles I had with me. And started making out. And next thing you know, my world changed. I had flash shorts in my hands. I turned to Rosemary and said, you know, start the car up, let's get out of here. Drove back to bed. Believe it or not, I jumped out of the car and walked to the front door. The guy checked and proved Vinny says, Carl, you don't look good. And I say, I don't feel good. And he said, you better sit down. And when he sat me down, my head went down. My hair was apparently holding in a ton of blood, and my shirt just turned blood red. And he said, what I said, I think the car blew up. Three of my friends drove me to Flushing Hospital. A policeman comes up to the bed and says, son, shot in the head. And that's my first recollection of shot. The bullet went through the roof of the Volkswagen, created a hole. Which obviously saved my life. To be it had put a hole in it. Just started plug my head.
Miraculously, Carlton Arrow survived and Rosemary escaped unscathed.
I knew I was gonna live. You know, I'm struggling with the hell shot me. Signed to the 15 homicide zone, Queens. It's a detailed different. I was the youngest guy on board, but I made my bones. Solved a lot of homicides. That was the most interesting time of my life. I was in the office one night and we got a phone call that a man was shot. Where's the shot? Shot. I went to the emergency room. There was called. Apparently, you know, he did this. I said, I don't know. But kind of jumped to a conclusion of a drug deal. Squad thought maybe it was a drug thing because he looked like a druggie at the time. Detectives were totally unaware that this case was related to a previous case in the Bronx. At that time, there was very little communication between boroughs. It was like separate cities, no communication, no computerization. And then stranger and stranger crimes, they're very difficult. Because there is no motive. You don't know why this guy would decide to kill somebody. And in the case of Carl and Rosemary, there was no description. So there was nothing to go on. These were two really nice kids. And yet someone was seeking them out to destroy their lives.
When I first encountered David Berkowitz, it was clear from the beginning that he wanted to use me to promote himself as a good guy who had learned from his horrible crimes.
This is why I try so hard to say to society, I'm not bad, I'm not that bad. It's impossible for them to know all. And sometimes it bothers me, but I really seem like I can really do about it.
I also had my agenda, which was to learn the full story. I wanted to work back to who he was as a human being and where he went off the rails, feeling within myself that it's as important to study these guys as it is to study cancer cells.
Maybe the best. Oh, I'm not gonna just go into detail about the crimes. So there's no need to that. I'm talking about the whole state leading up to the getting different right now. It's all different. Say I don't know where it began.
He was on edge when we talked about the specifics here. First, he was not talking about the laws. If there was a technique in my getting David Berkowitz to open up, I think it was by showing a real interest in his childhood. In fact, he talked about it with more eagerness than I ever thought he would.
I felt like I was always on, on another planet. And it would seem to really fit in. Stanford lives.
David Berkowitz was blessed with this face of an angel. Cherubic, smiling, curly-haired child that everybody sort of turned on to, adored. His mother had given him up for adoption 3 days after his birth. He was adopted by her. World War II veterans.
Decent, fair, kind, loving, everything possible. Mother used to tell me, just tuck me in at night, every night. Kiss my forehead. When I was a child, and she used to say, God be with you, angels be with you, pleasant dreams. She used to say every night.
For some reason, his father, his adoptive father, just decided one day when Berkowitz was in elementary school to drop the bomb on him that not only was he adopted, but that his mother died during childbirth and that his father was in too much grief to keep him. So that's why he adopted.
My whole life, I was racked with guilt. My work home was dead for me. I felt like now I had to pay for her debt. And then somewhere I thought there was a man out there that hate me, in fact, we want to try to kill you, see, or causing your death on his wife. I didn't really belong in the world.
And so this created a definite shock to the system. Created a hole inside of him. All of a sudden, he doesn't have a clue who he is, where he comes from. And by all accounts, he changed. He became a little darker, a little bit more quiet. That's when his true antisocial acts started.
For Berkowitz, she was so happy to have a child. So she would overlook these horrible things he would do.
I used to do this sneaky way. I used to like rip up world and kill all wild public. If you had lipstick or something, I used to try to make a little lipstick comes out, my favorite. Break off a lipstick and turn right now, there'll be nothing in there. She might be the lipstick. There'll be nothing there. Her basic being towards her. She don't stand it. The guy wouldn't stop. He's such a different person. Here I was. Big guy. Like I used to go off alone and then just do out some vandalism things. Nobody would have suspected it because I don't see the type. All life was sitting around punishing me. I got to a point where I do something wrong solely to be punished. Instead of finding this is true, thing I'm punished. Oh, yeah, but no. I ain't being pushing down to you. Just the fireman would have to come in there, just extinguish the fire.
At some points, the late 9-year-old, his antisocial behavior became something that parents could not ignore. So I looked up a psychologist and brought him in for sessions to find out what's going on to make him do these mischievous things he was doing. In the process of interviewing David Berkowitz, the therapist introduced toy soldiers that he could use for symbolically reenact his relationships with children that he had problems with.
I don't know folks think. She said there and now she's not baby. I've always had to shoot it. I mentioned that was first on angry at the day. I said, well, that yeah. It's all and dozens. They were all representing people. Now we that case basketball. Next question. Understanding.
So, for maybe the right reasons, gave him the wrong message. A gun to target his enemies, to take out something which caused some mental disturbance. Which was exactly the right thing to do with a kid like David Berkowitz.
On November 27th of 1976, which was Thanksgiving weekend, very close to my home in Clover Park, Queens. There were two girls that had just come home, Joanne Lamino and Donna DeMasi. They had gone to the movies, and they were standing outside Joanne Lamino's house. They were just chatting on the stoop. And then this strange guy approaches, asking for directions. And then all of a sudden, opens fire.
I was shocked. And it's been up to that. I heard his mother. Got up. You know, got out. With blood, Donna was bleeding pretty good. She got shot in the neck. And my sister was basically curled up in front of the front door. And she couldn't move. And that was the beginning of, the horrible night. Trying to get her to the hospital as soon as possible to get the attention she needed. She was super edgy at that night. She couldn't feel her legs. She couldn't feel from the waist down. My parents and I were afraid she was going to die. My sister was 2 years and 4 months older than me. We were pretty tight. We were pretty close family. She showed me my mom at that time and time. But that was how it was in Queens back then. She was like 2 years old. She loved to dance. She really loved to dance. She had a lot of friends and they really loved her. She was actually getting to the next phase of her life.
Donna DeMasi, remarkably, she survived and did well with her recovery, but Joanne Lamino got shot in the back and she was paralyzed.
We found out that she was never going to walk again. It was pretty devastating. She was very depressed. She couldn't walk. She couldn't do anything she loved to do, dance or anything. The initial wounds from the shooting, she healed from those, but she still had permanent problems with her health. And some of those health issues became pretty severe. Ultimately, that's why she passed away. It was a trauma for her life. Shot.
They only lived 6 blocks from where I lived, and one of them was paralyzed. That stood out to me. I was aware of the Flushing shooting, and that had only happened a month before. So I started getting a little bit nervous. These young people in pairs are getting shot. Why? What's going on?
It is a middle class neighborhood, quiet, family oriented. There's not much crime there, especially violent crime. And this happened late at night, right at the steps of the Lamina household. The two young girls were saying goodnight to each other when they observed an unidentified male white, approximately 30 years old. The man all of a sudden started firing. He fired approximately 5 shots.
At this point, we now have 3 shooters, and still the police have not linked anything together. And since there's no perpetrator that they even have in mind, they're on the back burner.
People assume because you worked in the detective division in New York City, you automatically overlay that's circumstances for the cases. But the volume of cases and the fact that the scene is it's very difficult to coordinate cases. So at that point, the department is unaware that there was a pattern developed.
We were freaked out. He was going to working class neighborhoods, and he was shooting 2 at a time. The way he operated scared us so much.
I understand there was no one thing that led up to this. People are acting just find some like one superficial reason to say, well, that was probably his motive, This wasn't the case at all.
So we were waiting and waiting. And actually took vacation from the paper and the prison weekends on their own time. Little by little, we actually formed, I guess you might call it mutual regard to
Hard to believe that the records
David was 14 when this one both had breast cancer.
He was something 2 minutes before. Yes, cancer.
Yeah, because there's so many times I was angry. I'm used to person. Hope you die. And one day she never came back.
Caused him to retreat within to himself. Here he is having love. He loves this woman, and then all of a sudden she's just ripped from him.
To continue a new father. Was it me then? And then we went to Co-op City. A big house, a big modern housing development.
And Co-op City, David did develop a small group of friends, but he continued to maintain his truthfulness. And at this time, he was a master of deceiving almost anyone. As a child, one of David's problems related to impression. Practicing keeping that side of himself on the side.
He had a nice face. You could always fool people with his faces. It hid the inner demons.
Look up. Gave some things I think. Very likely and begin to say, well, I had a lot of girlfriends, but you were not very now related. Last long.
He says that he wanted a woman to have a normal sexual relationship. He never found it.
My next woman is through about Irish. Then my friend told me that she saw her in the park making out with this guy, Gary, some. After that, we broke up. She wrote him. Did you feel like the hurting you? Hurting you? Yeah, but see, at that time, I was always Mr. Control. I did what I did. I thought of it, but I never did it. This was when we were in high school. Yeah. Found out later she played around a lot on a lot of guys. She wasn't that sweet and innocent. I should hear her how good or something. When he smacked this guy in the head. Hey, he pulled out a coming,
He was incredibly sensitive to the least slight against him.
Need be in the land of victory that you think. Everyone say in the pain. Say you believe in I can getting funny, but so it's in the decision of that in your summer, yeah, so it's and love in your immediate chamber, but you're in your back over things. I think you have time to show up in your name. You can even make it. I feel like you're really best all the days. Under time, you can see me, I can say, yeah, I can. It's like, I'm so with you. I'm so with you. I'm like, and is it a picture we did like nothing? They change your better find but so I'm trying to be yes, so and you ain't really change, but you're in your back. Overthink, you have but you could have made and you so many times you can see me I can say all the life.
Thank you.
sent it to a message. So, if we can, if somebody, don't know what they want to do, they can take that guy.
Hòa nguyện trong phút giây để thơ hãy thành một mơ đến khi em một ngày chúng đó cách tay người yêu chuyện nghiệp sẽ đến khi ta kể sẽ lúc vì sao nghe sao đến người yêu sẽ sự cho người không về phố lòng cho mình em phải luôn trong chúa nhớ bên bình yên trong mãi mãi em lòng sắc em không bình trời đất sẽ không thay sẽ không bị người mong nhớ một những có không rồi một người biết được tình người anh người trong thiên đàng là một anh sẽ mang một những suy tư máy hát hình thế những ngày sông khổ để cho gió biển chỉ cứ anh thở.
Your route has been updated to avoid a road closure in 944 kilometers. For about 280 kilometers, continue straight.
Để nói thì mình có khác gì gió biết sao cánh điện của mình nếu muốn cho người dẫn tiền đến việc xong phố địa điện nào tới trường chúng nó để rồi xin chơi chúng mình đó Trẻ của em là chồng tình hoa này là quá là mất năm tuổi tuổi nên ta cần phải xem thông thông
On the south side of the one we don't you do. Bang
Em sống em nó còn trò chuyện với anh. Trên xa sự gian từng đèn phút tiếng dành cho cuộc sống. Một đêm sẽ trên sống. Xanh xanh xóa thì vì nó còn mỏi mỏi tóc xanh vì nó còn trò chuyện với em yêu sao kỳ vọng chia sẻ rằng tình đến với bên có xin vì sao em sẽ vì thương em sao bây giờ sao xin tình này em biết vì chúng sống đi có xin
Là con tinh sẽ được tìm cùng nhau nhìn lên trời cao. Đến phút cuối em buông xa, làm sao để giữ được tìm hoài hình bóng lúc anh tìm hoài cảm giác bối rối lòng này anh đã có lối định đi chiều hôm ấy phút lối chìm vào bóng tối nhói lệ nhòa hoen mắt chẳng thể dừng ở nơi đó em có vui không người bên em có sống hay không họ có biết yêu đâu còn chỉ với những ôi sao về bên gió lòng đôi mong bên yên phương ngồi đây tiếng người âm nhẹ dù rằng một giây thôi khi dặm bờ mực xiết nó đừng vội vàng quên rời xa anh xuống đừng đi anh không nhìn nhau em lá vàng rơi xa tới sông